Principles are the guidelines for human conduct that provide universal truths. They are fundamental, permanent truths that are self-evident. There are 7 habits that are imperative to effectiveness and success, and Stephen Covey lays them out in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Between stimulus and response, man has the freedom to choose. Stephen Covey was a businessman, a keynote speaker, as well as an author. Influenced by the current self-improvement and business authors of his time, as well as his affiliation with the Latter-day Saints, he wrote his book. This was written as a foundational self-development book to show readers the 7 best habits to use as principles. He was very successful in this endeavor, and this became one of the most popular self-development books of all time. It's also my favorite book of all time, so I'm very excited to talk about it. Let's delve into the content. The book is split up into 7 main sections for each habit. 1. Be proactive. 2. Begin with the end in mind. 3. Put first things first. 4. Think win-win. 5. Seek first to understand and then be understood. 6. Synergize. And 7. Sharpen the saw. The first 3 revolve around internal development, the second 3 revolve around social development, and the 7th one applies to both. Starting with habit number 1, be proactive. We have the freedom to choose our actions, yet most people react instead of give a conscious response. This is evident in receiving criticism. Generally, our reaction is to be defensive and try to invalidate their criticism. However, when we're proactive, we think of it more as a suggested solution rather than a personal attack. That involves being honest with yourself. I've been making videos for years, and I consider myself pretty good at it. But if I receive a comment like, "This video is rushed, you didn't put enough time into this video," instead of angrily blocking the comment, I would like to probe this commenter further. Maybe they don't respond, but sometimes they respond with hundreds of bullet points. I'd probably find the suggestions for, "Oh, the camera quality is bad," or "the audio isn't good," or "I'm not that entertaining," or "my jokes aren't funny," or "I should stop doing this. I should get a job. A real one." I would agree. Even as I make this video, I probably have some of the same issues. Right now, I would justify it by saying I'm a full-time student, I'm still looking for a full-time job, and I couldn't possibly put more time into this video. That's reactive speak. I believe I can put more quality into these videos. I just choose not to. It's an opportunity cost, and that's okay. Then also there might be some suggestions that are fairly simple to do. And now I'm able to improve my videos without a whole lot of effort. I love criticism. There are hundreds of thousands of people who get paid just to criticize businesses and artists, and usually the clients are the ones who call them in. I'm getting this feedback for free. The only price is my ego and my crippling self-esteem. Being proactive is also about taking ownership. It is important to immediately admit and correct our mistakes so that they have no power over that next moment and we are empowered again. Feeling like you don't have power over a situation translates everywhere in your life as well. Take as much ownership for failure in the beginning as you possibly can so that in the long run, you won't feel like a failure. It helps build you up and makes you stronger because now you feel more in control of the situation and you'll be able to learn from those past mistakes. I would highly recommend Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin if you're interested in learning more. On to habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. What do you want to be remembered for? Whether you like it or not, you're going to grow old and you're going to die. To better think about this, Stephen Covey asks us to imagine us at our own funerals. What will our friends, family, and associates say about us? What character would you like them to have seen in you? What contributions, what achievements would you want them to remember? Maybe playing online competitive games they have no chance of going pro at for 8 to 10 hours a day is a waste of time. This is how I lived most of my life in high school as well as freshman year of college. I was busy being busy rather than busy being effective in the person that I wanted to be. Life isn't about distracting yourself, it's about living your meaning. Quitting unproductive habits can be a slow process, but sometimes it can be done cold turkey if it's that destructive. I can still play games for fun and with my friends because being a competitive gamer is not part of my identity anymore. Find where your life centers around and where you want to be and start taking steps to get there. Habit number 3, put first things first. Every activity in your life falls within one of these quadrants. Either it's important and urgent, important and not urgent, not important and urgent, or not important and not urgent. Most people have too much happening in quadrant 1 and not enough happening in quadrant 2. Quadrant 1 is crisis mode and causes the most stress. You have to pay your bills today, you have a huge project that you haven't even started that's due tomorrow, or you have 15 minutes before an online meeting and someone's in the shower every single time! These all have a common theme. These all could have been solved earlier in Quadrant 2. This could be finally starting to develop that game you've always wanted to develop, or starting that blog that you've always wanted to make. Skabookski.com, check it out. Keeping things out of Quadrant 1 could also be from realizing it's not actually a problem, or not your problem. Steven gives a great response for you to use in case your boss tries to give you more unnecessary work. Steven, to do the jobs that you want done right would take several days. Which of these projects would you like me to delay or cancel to satisfy your request? Any reasonable person should be able to work with you on that. But if they overstep your boundaries, it may be best to look somewhere else. Boundaries play a huge part in keeping your life in Quadrant 2. I would highly recommend Boundaries by Henry Cloud and John Townsend to learn more about why and how to set boundaries. Schedule your priorities for the week and keep working on yourself. Now we're getting into the people section. We need people to build us up, for us to help them, and also for them to give us meaning. Habit number 4 is to think win-win. There are a few ways you can think about an outcome for any given situation. Win-win, win-lose, lose-win, and lose-lose. Win-win is a frame of mind and heart that constantly seeks mutual benefit in all human interactions. This may sound like utopian nonsense, but in any given situation, there's a 99% chance you can use win-win as long as you're not directly competing with the other person. Being friends with someone should not feel like a compromise. Both people should feel genuine positivity towards each other, and it shouldn't feel like someone else owes another person. This can only be possible through an abundance mentality. This mentality recognizes the unlimited possibilities for positive interactions, so both people can feel better off than they did before. Don't live a give and take life, live a give and grow life. We can take concepts from Economics 101 to demonstrate this. If John has 10 pounds of apples and Jack has 10 pounds of chicken, exchanging 5 pounds of apples for 5 pounds of chickens makes both people healthier. So they're much better than they were starting off. What do I want, and what can I do to make someone's life better so that I can get what I want? That's win-win. On to habit number 5. Seek first to understand, then be understood. We have such a tendency to rush in to fix things up with good advice, but we often fail to take the time to diagnose, to really deeply understand the problem first. Whenever someone is talking, do you listen to them with your full attention, or do you think about what you're going to say next? This is an issue with most people, but once spotted, it can be fixed. Ask genuine questions and only think about what your response is going to be after you fully understand what their thinking is. If you're an assertive person, it can be hard to throw in your opinions without sounding rude. The best thing you can do is assume you're not understanding them right. If someone's on their phone during an important meeting, don't call them out and demand that they put their phone away. Ask them if there is something wrong. They may say, "Oh, nope, sorry," and then just put away their phone. Or they could say, "My dog is really sick and I'm getting updates." Either way, the situation is better understood because of that question, and there are no hurt feelings. Imagine how awkward it would have been to scold someone for getting updates on their sick dog. If you struggle with paying attention or getting people to know that you understand them, try mirroring. This is when you simply rephrase what they have said. If this is a more serious conversation, the other person now feels more validated in their feelings and trusts you more. And this also makes you a better listener. Habit number 6, synergize. Simply defined, synergy just means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Synergy is the end result of utilizing all of the prior habits. When you understand your goals as well as someone else's goals, you can create synergy. If you're an excellent artist and your friend is a great children's book writer, you two can create something that you would not have been able to create by yourselves. That's why working with other people is vitally important to being successful. If trust and cooperation is high, you create synergy. Finally, habit number 7, sharpen the saw. There are 4 main dimensions to our nature. There's physical, mental, spiritual, and social/emotional. Sharpen the saw basically means expressing all 4 motivations. It means exercising all 4 dimensions of our nature, regularly and consistently in wise and balanced ways. Each dimension coincides with your wellness. Keep each dimension fulfilled and you'll keep wanting to improve and use the 7 habits. Continue to develop yourself and relearn productive material to stay strong. Once we are self-aware, we must choose purposes and principles to live by. Otherwise, the vacuum will be filled and we will lose our self-awareness and become like groveling animals who live primarily for survival and propagation. People who exist on that level aren't living, they are being lived. Commit to learning and doing the things that follow your principles and you'll live meaningfully. Now for some final thoughts in the book. This is my favorite book of all time and I highly recommend reading it. I've only covered a fraction of the material, and this book is an experience to read. It is one of the best foundational books to live by. It's especially important today where many people are struggling to find meaning in life. This book will help. I put a link to the book down in the description. Consider checking it out and subscribing to the channel. My final question to you is, which habit surprised you the most? Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another book.